Welcome to the kitchen. In this video we're going to be cooking zhug, which is a Middle Eastern dip or sauce. It's super tasty, really easy to make, so let's get into the kitchen and let's get cooking. The ingredients we've got are a handful of parsley and a handful of coriander. We've got on the plate here a heaped teaspoon of cumin seed. We've got a garlic clove which has been crushed. And we've got one small green chilli which has been de-seeded and chopped finely. We've also got a clove and we've got one cardamom pod. We've got about 50 millilitres of olive oil, and then here I've got a jar of pure insulin syrup. So you could use agave, you could even use runny honey, or mix up some of the flavours slightly and use some maple syrup. With our pestle and mortar, we'll start with the clove and the cardamom pod and the cumin seeds as well. So trying to leave the garlic and the chilli for 1 minute. So get those into the pestle and mortar, and we'll just start to grind these down. They don't need to be ground down too much, it's just to start to break them up. And what we can do with the cardamom pod, we can actually take the husk out, because it'll reach a point where the husk won't actually break down any further than it is. So with that we've got the really nice fragrant centre of the cardamom in the mix. And there we have it, there's our spice blend. So as you can see, there's still bits of cumin in there. We can still see that there's cumin seeds, so we don't want to break it down completely. We still want there to be that little bit of a crunch, so that as we're eating it we've got those little pops of flavour. So what we can do now, we can take the garlic and the chilli, and they can go straight into the pestle and mortar as well. And next up is the parsley and the coriander, which is what really gives zhug that kind of vibrant, beautiful green colour. So what we'll do is we'll just take the herbs, just gather them together with our hand, and then being very careful, keeping the fingers out of the way, we'll just chop through the herbs. We don't need to chop them too finely, because we are going to put them into the pestle and mortar and give them a bit more of a pounding in there as well. And of course with this dish you could, if you don't have a pestle and mortar, you could take your ingredients, all of your ingredients, and you could put them into a blender to blend them all together. So I'll just run the knife through there just a couple more times, so keeping my my hand out of the way of the sharp side of the blade, keeping it on top, and just rocking the knife through the herbs. And what we can do, we'll bring the pestle and mortar back up, and we can bring our herbs into the pestle and mortar, trying to get as many in as possible, not to spill any. You'll always spill some, but that's okay. And we'll give that just another quick pounding, just to start to break the herbs down a bit and get the cumin and the garlic and the chilli, the clove, the cardamom pod, get them all starting to mix together. And then we'll go in with our olive oil, so that's about 50 millilitres of olive oil. Give that a stir around, and at this point here it's less of a pounding that you are giving it, and more of a stirring, just making sure that both the pestle and the mortar are in contact with each other, because it's that grinding that you can hear. That's what helps break the ingredients down. And now we'll come in with around about a teaspoon of our sugar substitute syrup. We'll try and do this without spilling too much down the side. And what we can do, we can get a fresh clean spoon and just give it a little bit of a taste just to see if we've got all the flavours right. That's fantastic. It's got the herbiness from the herbs. It's got a real punch from the raw garlic and the chilli, and just that subtleness of the clove and the cardamom come through as well. I'm just going to give it just a little pinch of salt. And now it's finished. Here's our jug. As you can see, it's a brilliant bright green colour. It goes really well with other dips and flatbreads. So if you think of having like a meze meal with some hummus, maybe some beetroot, jug like this alongside that is absolutely fantastic. As well, it goes really well with simply cooked white fish, and you'll see that in my recipe video for hake.